So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Big and also named Jason Shields.
And I'm the tiny one, and I'm Marka Wilson. Really?
Gotta mix it up.
No, you can't. No.
Okay.
I promise from next episode it will be smooth again.
I'm sorry.
But it's really good example for we're doing it live and doing one take only.
That's it.
It's fucked up. You can't do another new intro. The old one is perfect.
I agree. All right.
I think actually you just forget it.
I forget it. Well, I'm old. Come on now.
You're only 50.
Oh, is that we're going to talk about that today?
We're going to actually talk about that. We're going to talk about it. But I actually have a surprise.
Bring it.
I think one of the things you're not going to like because I did something I don't know if I should. And anyways, come back to it. So, first of all.
Surprise on camera. Let's go.
Surprise on camera. It's much fun that way. We started this podcast a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And a year ago, I was in a very dark spot in my life. So why on earth do you want to say I started a podcast then? I have no clue. It was dark. It was heavy. And I remembered yesterday saying that I'm going to let you know when it turns a little bit better.
Yes.
And not today, but the 2 days before, I had at least 5 minutes to half an hour of total happiness.
Amazing.
Which is different from just feeling happy.
Yes.
And that was the whole point, because of course I've had moments during the last year where I've been happy and had joyful and all that, but it was as deep as depression can be. This was the total opposite. And one of them, and then the first one, because I'm going to tell you about two of them.
Yep.
And the first one, I was walking my dog, feeling okay. Not feeling great, just feeling good. Okay. And then I had my earbuds on and I listened to my second favorite podcast, because of course this is my favorite.
Yep.
I listened to my second favorite podcast, which is a Norwegian podcast from NRK, which is The Whole Story, is it called. And I have different subjects, and they tell it tells stories, everything from religion to when Norwegian got a smoking law, but this was about Bobbysocks.
Bobbysocks
won the Melody Grand Prix in 1985.
Melody Grand Prix. And for all of you that aren't from Europe, if you're from the US, Asia, if you're from the Middle East, my friends, you don't know what the Melody Grand Prix is. It's a Grand Prix, basically amateur. Did you say
it's like the old Idol?
Yeah,
or I kind of call it that. It's all the countries have one song and they compete, and the one that wins get to host it the next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and in 1985, Norway had never won. Never. It had record in becoming last or second to last over half the times.
Wow.
It had been competed in this music thing. Norway had 50% of the time come last or second to last. And that's quite impressive.
That's impressive.
And this year, Bobbysocks won.
Okay.
And even if you have been in the States and you lived in from 1985 to 1990, you actually would have watched them because they toured in California.
Wow.
You didn't know this, did you?
No, I don't even know who Bobbysocks is.
Well, Bobbysocks, look at them online. It's from, again, 1985. They have pink, like, paljetter. What's it called?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, what's paljetter called in English?
I have no idea.
No, the blinky stuff, like disco.
Sequins.
Okay.
Sequins that like flash when you get the
light.
light.
You get light and then go shh.
Yeah.
It's kind of
sequins.
Okay. They have that on like a jacket, and then one has pants and one has skirts. And fun fact, one has pants because they're about the same height.
Yeah.
but the one that has skirt just have upper body and no lower body. So if both were skirts, it will look very uneven.
Oh wow.
That's why one has pants and one has a skirt.
Wow.
So
like literally like they've lost their legs?
No, sorry. No, she's like just 5 centimeters short in her legs. The other one, so she's all upper body, lower body.
I'm like, damn, this story is getting really interesting. Like, wow.
This is a big digression. I'm getting to the point. So, if you look up, because you have to be with me in this. So, go into YouTube and look at Bobbysocks, and you're gonna look at the song, Bobbysocks, the band, and it's 2 ladies. And you're gonna look for the song "La det svinga" or "Let It Swing."
Let It Swing.
Let It Swing.
Yes.
And you've heard it.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
You have heard it.
I'm sure I have. I just at the moment can't bring it.
Anyways, I was going on a walk with my dog. I had this earbuds on, listening to this podcast about that win they had, the first win for Norway in Melodi Grand Prix. And it's like a 50s dancing song.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Norway, we don't say hello to each other. We don't speak to each other in general. We accept each other's privacy a lot. So we look rude, but it's actually deep respect for each other. But when you walk, you do a nod to the other people walking.
Yeah, in the mountains, for example. Then you can say hi. But just so you guys know, this, in terms of fun fact, if you have an atom, you have neutrons and protons in the middle. And then you have electrons that go around in different layers, okay? Now, a physicist figured out in Norway, by getting on the bus, how these electrons fill these electron shells. Because if you get in the bus in Norway, everybody sits first 1 person per double seat as far away from each other as they possibly can, and they fill the bus up, and then they start filling it up to when all the other single seats are finished, or the rows are filled with 1 person, then they start filling out again from the front and go backwards. So that's how the atoms are built or constructed. And he figured that out in Norway because people sit as far away from each other as they possibly can.
Yeah, it's just how it is.
It's very interesting.
But I was walking and I met a guy walking towards me, and then we nod and he kind of says something, and I go, but it wasn't a kind of, he was stopping me and having a conversation. Like, and I'm like, and it was some sheep. They were doing some sheep stuff because I worked by a field, and my dog is not, he's a baby dog, so he's not that
he's awesome.
He's not very aggressive, so he finds
angel baby dog.
Yeah, he finds these sheep a little bit not.
Scary.
He walks past them. He doesn't want to engage with them.
Yeah.
So I start walking, and I walk past, and I say hey to that guy. First I thought he said hey to me, and then he started pointing. I'm like, I'm going that way. Yes, good. And then I turn around, and I can hear these bells coming towards me.
Oh Lord!
And they were moving the sheeps from one field to another.
Yeah.
And they were gonna move it from that field that I just passed to the one I was walking towards. And I'm not too fond of sheep myself. So I have 50 sheeps. Big ass, and it's not white.
Like it's sheep avalanche.
Yeah, they have sheep like with horns, and you have a lady comes running, and she has like a bucket of goodies for the sheep.
Yeah.
And they come running towards me, and I just look at Teddy, which my dog, and I
he
go,
looks like a sheep in a way.
Oh my god! And I have go in to YouTube and find Bobbysocks, Let It Swing.
Yeah.
That's the music I'm listening to, and I just start running, and I've just started laughing my ass off because I have no clue how far I'm gonna run, and my dog is not a runner.
Yeah.
To pull him by the leash, and we go running, and I run. They're not stopping because they run fast. The sheep.
Oh yeah.
Because she has this lady with that bucket.
Yeah.
And we just start running, and I'm laughing my ass off because this is so hysterical. Because I can't stop because sheep and dogs are not best friends. And you have all these happenings with dogs killing sheep, and I'm not ending up in that situation. So I'm running, and I'm just laughing my ass off. And Teddy doesn't understand anything, and these sheep are not stopping. So I think we ran for like at least 600 meters with sheeps behind you.
Wow.
So I'm terrified of getting caught by sheep, and they run much faster than I thought they would. And I'm laughing and laughing and laughing and running and listen to Let It Swing on my ears. And it's just, I'm like, this is taken from a movie. And that was the first time. Was full joy.
Nice.
And I just realized this is a moment of pure, utter joy or happiness or very good emotions. And then the day after, I was starting to get, and this was a transformation, because it was the sister of anxiety.
Oh, ecstasy.
No, that's the opposite.
Yeah.
The sister.
Oh, well, of anxiety?
Yeah. What would that be?
Paranoia.
No, but on the positive side.
Oh.
Because you have the circle.
Yeah.
You have the high, outward going, strong.
Anxiety, it would be, it's a kind of happiness.
It's a kind of, but it's lower.
Yeah.
So I was thinking joy.
Yeah.
Because it's joy.
Excitement.
Excitement.
It's excitement. Positive excitement is
positive
anxiety.
excitement.
Yeah.
So I was getting home and was starting to feel a lot of anxiety because I was starting to overthink something I can't control, and I can feel it's coming up. And it's in the middle of the day, or it's like 4:00, but middle of the day, and I just got this urge, and I went for a jog. I don't jog. There's nothing I do. I did it before a lot. I haven't jogged now in 5 years. I'm not a runner. I fight on the mat. I prefer not to run, but I'm gonna run. And I ran like Phoebe.
Wow.
Have you seen Friends?
Yes.
And Rachel runs like this, and Monica runs like this, and no one wants to run with Phoebe because she's running around with her arms around and just being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just put on. I searched on Spotify and I found kind of this confidence boost songs, like, because I don't want heart song. I need something because I feel I need to switch this, and I have an urge to run. Okay, let's not build heavy emotions, heavy music. Let's get something just meaningless lyrics and just fun and happy-go-lucky and run. And I was running like Phoebe, and that was the second pure positive fully experience.
That's nice.
So I had two now.
That's nice.
That lasted more than a second.
A second, right? Yeah.
It took a year.
Yeah.
And I am not saying that it's been dark all the time between there, but it's something about I can have a happy emotion and not be happy.
Yeah.
But this was moments with pure
joy,
happiness, especially the one with the sheep. I'm like, oh, this is so ridiculous.
So,
but I just started to laugh and I ran like Phoebe, and it was just amazing. Like, it was so nice. Like we talked about in the last podcast, when you hold a pen, you can hold it without tightening your knuckles. You can actually also turn your palm up and still hold the pen.
Yeah.
So it was really, really nice to not take yourself so serious.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And for once, I didn't exercise and with a purpose.
Yeah.
Which I haven't done since I was 16,
oh,
maybe.
Man. Yeah, exactly. You're a beast. You have a lifetime of lifting
and we always live with purpose.
Yeah, always.
But there was not a purpose, and most likely it's going to be 10 years to the next time I jog. It's not something I'm going to start because it was just a thing right there and then, but really fun.
How
so
cool.
That was 30 minutes of me having just wanted to keep my promise and say when I found...
Yes.
I said a year ago, when I find something positive, I'm going to tell you. And this was pure... It was two after each other, pure moments of something other than pure angst.
That's so beautiful.
So beautiful. That was that. That was not what we were going to talk about today, though.
No, but could I just comment for a second? Because it's
our podcast. We do whatever we want.
Good, thank you. Because I that's such a beautiful thing, and when you are working on yourself a lot, you have to delve into different aspects of who you are as a person, right? And you have to access your power center, and emotions are energy in motion. So you can't really start just with this stuff that tastes like honey. You very often, if you're really going to take the work seriously, you're going to have to dig deep. And sometimes when you've been digging deep a long time, things kind of get colored by where you've been working.
Or you've been hanging.
Where you've been hanging. And then and please excuse me for this expression. I don't really like the expression because it's a little bit of it's a stupid expression, but it's used colloquially as bitching out. Women and lionesses and female dogs are the most strong, vicious, and dependable parts of that equation. Just saying. But the word is bitching out. When a lot of people, as soon as things get dark, as soon as things get heavy or difficult or uncomfortable, they bitch out. They leave. They excuse themselves. They back away. They find an excuse not to go there again. You did not do that. Winners do not do that. They basically do the work until the work's done. And that's what you have been doing. The issue often is then when you have been grinding so long in one area, it's very difficult to let that area go.
Yeah, change is hard no matter what. You would imagine, but if you've been dark, you want to go light. Yeah, but that change is still a change. It's still, although it's for the better, it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah, because you don't really know yourself because you've become completely different in that process. You don't know yourself with the high emotions right now.
No.
In the same way. You haven't found that yet.
No, I prefer almost the deep dark ones than the high because I'm like, they were so scary.
Yeah, and you know what that is. You know what the depression and the anxiety and
anger,
and the panic and all that stuff is, and the anger, which kind of holds the light and dark together, right? You've been on that border quite a bit, and those are very useful, powerful emotions. And just so you know, yes, all of the dark emotions are also very useful and very powerful.
They are amazing.
Yeah, they are. Once you get to know them.
For once, what they're useful for.
Yes. But getting that sudden, the other side of the scale. So it's not that you haven't had happiness, but to have pure, untouched, glorious, super intense joy where
you are out of yourself.
Yeah, you're released.
Joy.
You're released. There's something about it's like being shot into out of a cannon, right? And you have that moment because it's the opposite side of the scale there. And that is also a 100% guaranteed result of having done the work on the other side. You will have more and more. And the thing is that people who are naturally happy, naturally joyful, very often, number one, don't understand that there's any other way to be, and they don't actually know how happy they are. I mean, if you were in front of me, I'd say, raise your hand if you've ever been happy and you didn't know you were happy until you were sad. And then, oh shit, I used to be really happy. People don't appreciate it. That's number one. But the number two is that, if you have a naturally high frequency in your emotions, then you suddenly realize that maybe you're not very strong when the other ones come. And also, do we always make our best decisions when we're super high and super happy? Nope. But we also don't make our best decisions always when we're
angry,
super low
for
or
instance.
angry.
It's not a good way to make decisions.
Exactly.
It's not at all.
Yep, and that's why we say being total, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said I don't make really big life-altering decisions after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, in the evening. That's right.
In the evening, because then
exhausted.
my brain and I can't evaluate properly after 7.
Yeah.
Because I've been working since 7.
Yeah.
So I understand that I can think about it and start to evaluate, but I don't make any life-altering decisions.
Exactly.
About I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to change schools, I'm going to get divorced, I'm going to get a dog.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody wants an extra dog.
And that's why you do all your bad eBay shopping after 7 o'clock, I would imagine. And if you have done eBay shopping at 1 o'clock in the morning, please tell me.
Yeah, the person who put online shopping or the shopping network on TV at midnight was a genius.
It's a reason for it.
Yeah.
How many ad machines are under people's couches, But what we're going to talk about was something else.
Bobbysocks.
Bobbysocks. Look it up.
Yeah.
Look it. I'm gonna Jason make a drawing and I'm gonna run and you can see how it all altered out. Anyways, I watched a movie the other day. I was watching it wasn't Die Hard. It was Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon.
Man, Mel Gibson, the young thug.
Young thug. Lethal Weapon. I have 4 movies, and of course, I'm making a 5th one. This came out in 1985. 83, 85, 87.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the 80s? Come on now.
No, I wasn't born. But I watched the movies, and
Right.
actually Lethal Weapon 4 was my first action movie that you shouldn't be allowed to watch, but I think I watched it anyways movie.
Yeah. You're the first scandal movie that your parents are like, no, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Doing that.
At least this is the first one I remember, because
Right.
the end scene when someone gets killed with a pole or something kind of freaked me out. And after that, for the next 5 years, I skipped that part. But
Fast forward.
this was number one.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've been taught through this process is to observe and listen,
Yeah.
not just accept and watch. There's many good things come from it. I'm getting much more aware of what I'm saying myself, especially in very important situations. I know I'm very nuanced in the words I'm using. I know if I said yes or no, if I said sometimes or always in those conversations, because there the nuances really matters.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, we had a lot of confrontations with it, because you were saying something and I was hearing something completely different. And you go, that's not what I'm saying. Yes, it is. And you said, no, it's not what I'm saying. Yes, that's what you're saying. Well, that's what I'm hearing. And that was a lot in the beginning. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
4
yes.
years ago.
Yes.
At least around that was this period. And because I had my filters on, so you were saying... sometimes I was hearing always.
Yeah, exactly.
For instance, it's not. And you listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, you listen to the
I
words
say
that I'm using.
sometimes this is a pattern. For instance, that's just an example. And having learned that and using it much more, and using a lot when I hear people are talking to me, to hear what words are they using, not what they're trying to express. What words are they using? Because it says a lot about a person's state.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way they see the world.
And the way they see the world. And so I'm trying to pay really much attention to the words people are using. And I'm watching this Lethal Weapon 1. And spoiler alert, but it's from the 1985. You should have watched it. If not, do that.
Rent the movie.
It's one of the...
Of course, you don't rent it anymore, but...
Yeah, it's one of
80s
those
you would.
blockbusters. It's
Blockbuster, that's right. And you'd rent the movie, take it home, put it in your VCR, and just... it was amazing.
Good times. And then Rick, which is Mel Gibson, his wife just passed away. And this is not a spoiler alert, so you'll be fine. His wife just died in a car accident. He's clearly unstable. He has a bullet that he has decided, I'm gonna kill myself with it. It's a scene where he really goes and he tries kind of first the front hand and then the mouth, and then he can't do it. Good. And he says, I see you later, much later, to the wife, the picture. And then the day after, you go back to the police station, and this lady, a psychologist, and she's wearing, this ruffled shirt up to her neck and stuff. And this is her...
Very feminine.
Yeah, very feminine. Curly 80s, white, blonde hair. And she's walking, talking to this police chief guy. And she's clearly saying this guy is unstable.
You think?
Like, he's unstable.
Like,
he is not
he's
safe to
unstable.
have on the force.
No.
He can kill himself or others or put the whole squad at risk because he's not thinking straight.
Yeah.
And this dude says, oh, Rick's tough.
He's tough.
Shut up with that psych shit.
Oh, my God.
And then he just closes the bathroom door in her face.
Yeah. Oof.
And Eirik, my husband, was sitting next to me and said, and there he wrecked a whole generation of men.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's true. Because this is one of the movies you watched over and over and over again. And subconsciously, you would keep picking up on this.
Yeah.
And also, it was that, and was another scene in that movie. The new partner of Rick is a big black guy. I can't remember his name right now. He has this phrase everybody knows, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
And he was laying in the bathtub, and I was looking at him, like, again, not just watching the movie, but looking. And I'm like, that guy looks really good. Like, he he has a six pack. He has well trained arms. He has a kid that's a teenager. He has a kid that's still a kid. That guy looks good.
Yeah.
You can't see it when he dresses, but you saw it in a bathtub.
Yeah.
And he just turned 50.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing around this. And he just goes, I'm too old for this shit. Also then saying that when you're 50, you're too old.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that was very interesting.
Yep. Exactly.
How these blockbusters,
Yeah.
especially because you don't watch them once, you watch them 20 times, 50 times, becomes a part of your subconsciousness.
Yeah.
That guy's 50. He's not too old for that shit. If he was 65, yeah. You're free to do better.
Yeah. Well, then, you're thinking about retiring perhaps, right?
When
and then
not.
hanging out with Mel Gibson's probably not the good thing for you.
When you're 65.
When
you're
you're 65.
50. And you look actually more trained than Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And you're too old for that shit.
Yeah.
I was just how pop culture affects us.
Yeah.
And you were watching this series you were talking about yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I think it's called Reacher. Now we're doing a lot of advertisement for movies and stuff. I think it's on Prime Video or something like that. It's called Reacher. It's a series. And I just love the fact that, of course, you want a big, strong hero. But this guy has almost zero emotions. He's a super calculator. He notices everything and he's never wrong. And he can beat the hell out of everybody. And he's giant. Like he's a bodybuilder giant, ripped down to 4% body fat. I mean, it looks amazing. But if you look at the character basically never eats. And the character also, by the way, never washes his clothes and always has the same clothes on. That's another little random weird thing. I think during the whole series,
That would
he changed
smell
clothes
a lot.
once. Yeah.
Men sweat.
Yeah,
Women also.
Yeah.
But men, low body fat, testosterone.
Yeah,
they do smell.
They smell. Yeah, just ladies, the guys that have the 8-packs and all that, yes, yeah, we stink. So just so you know,
It's not a nice
if
sense.
you're working out like that much, your body is constantly in high drive. So you're gonna smell. You're gonna have to change. I shower sometimes 2-3 times a day when I'm doing all that, like when I'm training as much as I really do. So the whole point is that, the whole idea of this idealization, but it's also an iconic thing. And he never works out. He's jacked like crazy. He doesn't eat constantly, which you would have to do to have that kind of a body. And he likes to walk everywhere. He walks everywhere. I'm telling you, my friends.
And then you would say walk everywhere. He walks from city to city.
Yeah, he walks from city to
I just
city.
walk around the block. No. He walks from, I don't know, what's 2 towns in, I don't know,
but
LA to San Francisco?
Yeah. He's walking between towns. Like if you walk that much, you cannot hold that muscle mass. That's one of the reasons
You're walking in the States.
You're walking in America.
The distances are
giant.
Enormous.
Yeah. So just the whole point is that there's so much unrealistic, weird stuff that we look, I want to be like him, then I have to live like him. But excuse me, my friend, but if you try to live like the guy on the show, you can't look like the guy who's the actor, because the actor doesn't live that way at all. The actor eats 7 times a day. He eats high protein. He works out 2 times a day and is probably on steroids. Just saying. Just if you look at the guy, you know what I'm saying. If you work out, you know that right there, even genetically, is, that guy doesn't exist without help. So you look at the things and you think, okay, that's what I need to be. So as you're a young and impressionable person, you watch Mel Gibson and Die Hard, right?
And you never can go to psychologist because psych shit.
Yeah.
And he was strong, so and I'm not weak, because then if he's strong not going, that because you'd be weak if you go.
Exactly. And he starts the whole movie with the gun in his mouth. Like, that's strong? And then he couldn't do it. That's strong. Like the whole point. And then I'm not saying that you should be able to do it. That's not the point. What I'm saying is that the whole premise of the movie is different than the way they present themselves. Right? So it's interesting because it's pop culture sets a trend, but that trend becomes pop culture because there's some truth in it. There's a lot of imbalance and misunderstandings in society. Right? So we're now in a different phase of civilization. We're now in a phase where we've realized that the future is female. And what do I mean by that? Is it only females that are going to participate? No, but it's female in its nature in terms of connectivity. Before it was survive, war, food, protection, shelter, money, career, and all of those things. And you see many women actually trying to become men in this whole gaining feminine rights thing, right? But now we're at a point where we've pretty much figured out how to produce food, and we pretty much people are the poverty levels lifting, the suffering in the world's going
The
away.
issue now is more the contribution of food.
Yeah, we need to distribute it, and we need
How many tons of food do we
throw
throw
away.
away?
Yeah, we dump
because
grain
we
into
just
the
go
ocean.
food, mine, no,
Yeah,
not mine, go away.
Exactly.
Instead of thinking, okay, we have all this food,
yeah,
what do we do with it?
and that's a selfish man way of thinking. Just saying, it's a very one direction linear way of thinking that if I have food and nobody else does, I can take a higher price. Therefore, I become wealthy because I'm a grain baron. And therefore, if somebody, if we have too much grain one year, I'm going to dump some of it in the ocean and make it scarce so I can pump the price up. That's the way it works, guys. I don't know if you know that, but they do that. They burn food. I
read somewhere, this is a while back, so I can't refer to the source again, but that we actually don't have a lack of food in the world. It's just
Not at all.
contributed very wrongly.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous percentage how much food some part of the world has, as how little the rest has. But then the food that most of the world has is thrown away because of, well, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, and Buckminster Fuller figured it out. He calculated just oranges. You realize there are 5 oranges per person per day produced in the world? Meaning that just oranges, like you think about meat and you think about other things, but just oranges, that means that everybody can have 5 oranges a day, every day, forever. Right? So where's the food? How are people starving?
It's contribution.
Exactly.
And that's what you get more with the female way of...
Yeah, that's exactly right. You have a way of thinking about things that are interconnected. It's about what you contribute to the whole. How are you going to relate to the people in the future? How are you going to be in communities? Your mobile phones, you no longer live with one. You live in your mobile phones. That's the new generation, guys. If you're under 30, you live in your mobile phone. So that means that you probably have more friends online than you have in your neighborhood.
Yep.
Yeah, right? And that's the thing. That's the same
And
thing.
more friends online than I have in my real life.
Yeah, but that's exactly right. And that's true. I have more people, you and I have more people who are listening to us online than listen to us in our everyday life. We become so powerful because our network now is global. You are now a piece of a growing organism. But that also makes us very vulnerable. Because the things you see, influencers, the pop culture, the memes that are going around, and I'm not talking about the funny ones you go ha-ha with. A meme came before the internet, guys. Memes are underlying ideas that affect the way society treats itself and the way society perceives the world. Think about that. So these underlying memes like, oh, he's strong. Get that psych shit away from me. Then shuts out all the people who need to talk to somebody about their internal state, that would love to have some advice. And to be quite honest, if you're gonna evaluate of all the people who are really in trouble out there, how many of them do you think are men?
It's a big percentage.
Most of them. So you think I'm dropping the hammer on the guys? Guys, I'm trying to free you up a little bit. Because there's some strategies that you need to find in your life so that you can get a better job, enjoy yourself more, have more relationships. You can do all kinds of things if you understand yourself better.
And you have that part. And again, this guy that was laying in the bathtub. He's so good looking, and he's too old for that shit. He looks better than half the 30-year-olds I know.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he looks like that, has that family, has the career, and he's too old for that shit, what you then when you're 30, everything you have in your life is worse than he has.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing you have on him is 20 years, but
yeah,
really,
yeah, Exactly. So then that's it.
It's ridiculous.
That's true.
So it's really interesting, and often we look back and you look at movies from the 90s especially, and you go, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
That's true, but these things that were in Lethal Weapon, we still say them.
Yeah.
It's not a kind of sexual, because there's a lot of sexual jokes you can't make anymore that you could make in the 90s, like female's dad, male dad. You can't do them anymore.
Yeah.
But that psych shit you still say.
Yeah, well, not I, but
No, but
yeah, but
once.
yeah, one has, exactly.
I
I just want to
world.
make sure that I wasn't getting no.
No, you're not. You would never say that.
No, oh no, and that's.
I think we practice psychology every day. So.
Yes, we do. We practice self work every single day, and that's really the whole point. If you are not able to relate to your own emotions, then you can never harness your true power. Your true power comes in finding a place, a person, a state, a situation where you can express your feelings. You get to know your feelings. You get to know the nuances of your different feelings. And in a situation where you will not be punished for feeling them and expressing them, you get to know them, and then you learn how to wield them, direct them, and achieve. That is the emotional mastery that every person should have in school. But that just doesn't really happen, does it?
No. Who was it said that? Was it you that said it?
What?
Or someone else?
Was it smart?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was smart. Yeah, it was something.
Who
was it said that? It was something about. We don't teach our kids life strategies.
Yeah,
and
that's me.
I said, and then I think it was you said, yeah, but we never taught how to be parents either.
That's it. Exactly.
So how can we expect our children to wake up and have good life and accept their emotions, accept themselves, when that has to come from the parents? It shouldn't. It's not coming from the school. It's from the parents.
Yep.
But you never taught how to be a parent, because being a parent is a donkey years life, right? But you never learned how to be one.
Yeah, never thought about actually being one. Just having a baby.
Having a baby. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, what about afterwards? Like, okay, you're having a baby. That's great.
And
it becomes a focus.
And all the parents I know wants to give the kids the best.
Yeah.
Well, we're not teaching them life strategies.
Yeah.
And how can that kid then become a good parent teaching their kids life strategies when because it's never taught.
No, exactly.
Kind of, you go as you go and you figure it out along the way.
Yeah. And most people are so busy. Now, this is kind of a weird thing. They're having kids when they're the busiest. They're trying to establish, they're trying to build a house, they're trying to find their way. They probably didn't use their teens and 20s to figure out who they are. They're in their 30s trying to make things happen in every direction to see how far and how much they can do and go. It's so crazy. And that's when they're going to have that second and third kid. And there's really no time for them to really do any inward work if they haven't started it before that. And that's why, hey, if you guys have young friends, get them into the integrated human. Get them on meditation courses, help them start their process so that they can find themselves a little bit, at least know that that's a possibility before the chaos hits. Because I don't know if you guys, if we have lots of listeners all over the world now, and some of you are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I know
we have a span from 15 to 86, something like that.
15 to 86. So the whole point is that if you're under 30, get on our courses or find a way to get contact with yourself, meditate, start to reflect on your life, start to be conscious about what you choose.
Ask yourself questions.
Ask yourself questions. That's it. Reflect.
It's not, you take everything as far as deep as stuff like you want, but ask questions.
Yeah.
And not ask, so how does atom works and what's an electron? Good. That's interesting. That's science.
Why did I choose to do this and not that?
Yeah, that's a better question to ask.
It is. Why am I avoiding my mom?
Why do I get angry every time my sister speaks to me?
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's so important.
Why?
Yeah.
Ask those questions.
And not that you even have to have an answer, but that you ask the question.
The first step. I'm always jealous of the when we have our meditation events and soon actually coaching events.
Yes.
We're going to start that soon. For people that's been in our meditation course, they're going to get a carrot to continue their work.
Carrots.
Because it's so fulfilling, and I love seeing people grow like that.
It's amazing.
But we have this last time we had this guy that went to the course, and I think it's 21. I'm sitting there just like, oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I wish I'd
I
been that
wished
guy.
I was wise enough to start when I was 21. When I was 21, I was going into the army.
Yeah, right.
So, which was an interesting experience in itself. But
That was there are educations and there edumacations.
that was an edumacation.
That was an edumacation.
Should have asked myself those questions. Why do you want to go there?
Yeah, why do you want to go in the army?
Why?
Yeah, it was awesome that you did, but wow, that's a lot. Yeah,
And but what I'm most impressed is that if you are that young to actually dare to do it, it's highly impressive, because it's easier. I find when we had some life experience, and you had your 3 kids, or life has happened a little bit, and you understand that this is not functioning, and this is not what I wanted, and why I'm so stressed out, or you have some experience. When you're 20, you don't have that much experience, but that you then have something in you that are searching for something already.
yeah,
That's impressive.
I agree. That they're awake enough to choose something like that's amazing. But also, creating that opportunity. And if you are a person that's, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 87, and you have younger friends, get them interested in their own process, get them interested in their own development, because the society that we're living in right now is so connected, and it's going at light speed. They live in their mobile phones, and they're able to change and process so much faster than people who were hanging out in the 80s are. But the difference is, and there's research, by the way, that you can listen to music and write a term paper and chat with a friend at the same time if you basically are a millennial.
Yeah, that was how I studied.
Yeah, right. But I can't. I
had
have
friends
to do one
in
thing
the
at a
back.
time.
I had friends in the background.
Yeah.
My whole high school would basically was Sex and the City in the background.
Exactly.
Working on school and talking to my friends.
Exactly. And that is impossible for me. And basically all the people from the 70s and 80s and 90s, we can't do that.
If to work good, I need that.
That's amazing, right? And that has to do with the way society's developing. So your processing power is so much higher now. But there's so much to choose from that if you don't get guidance, it's very easy to end up just thinking about cosmetics and trying to get a 6-pack with, the next pre-workout. And, people get thrown off so much because there's so many traps today. There's not that many traps in the 80s. There were some dumb things being said, but I mean, life was calm.
It's very calm. I in the last meditation one we had, it was the summer. We were having just openings for questions at the end, and then it was one of the guys that wanted to say something, and that was very interesting because he just showed something very important. And this is a 84-year-old guy. He's been meditating a lot, and we have done the what's the
pranayama. It's
pranayama
like
breathing technique.
Yeah.
So we had used that during the weekend, and he said that he was really happy for the weekend, and he had used his pranayama a lot before, but he hasn't used it for 20 years or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I'm going to start doing that again. Take that up again.
Yeah.
And that was so interesting. You are 86 and you're going to now start doing something again that you haven't. How many people will do that? They will do, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, I'm too old for this shit.
I don't do that anymore. But he I remember that I like doing that. So he's going to take it up again and start doing it.
Exactly.
And when you can do that when you're 86, you can do that when you're 70, 60, 50.
Yep.
It's never too late and never too early.
That's it. Well said, MTG. Well said.
Yo. I'm sorry, I spoke very quickly today.
I like it.
So you can put me on, you can adjust the speed to a 1/5, 175 and 2. So put me on minus and
Put me on plus.
and put Jason on plus.
Yeah,
and we
it's gonna be
equal
perfect.
out.
It's gonna be perfect. Yeah, so much positive.
I promise next time we try to have a good introduction, Jason.
Oh, burn me.
Yeah,
Burn
you fucked it up
me.
twice now.
Dude, come on. It's just, a little bit of variations. Not
No,
bad.
no.
I'm not
No.
a slave to convention.
No, I am.
All right. And I should actually, I should shape up.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It doesn't have the flow in it.
Yeah. Well, I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Don't change us. Don't change it.
Yeah.
I will make people comment that we should go back to the old.
Getting burned. Well, it's very interesting with these things. They say that stereotypes they're not true, and you shouldn't live your life with stereotypes. But there is some kind of relationship with stereotypes, and people are often saying that when I talk to my female friends that they want a man with that's sensitive. They want a man that's sensitive. And I have a friend. I don't know if you remember him, but he's the guy who every time he's going to sing, he starts to cry. And it's not just cry because he has a lot of emotion, but he's very sensitive to stress and he doesn't deal with it very well. So he's crying a lot and he has lots of emotions and he has lots of high emotions, but lots of low emotions. He's quite difficult to live with. And he found a wife that's super solid. Like she's the opposite. So like if you're thinking about typical gender roles in movies, they're the opposite. Like she's a beast. Like she's so strong but her emotional range is zero. Like it's like she doesn't really get happy and she doesn't really get sad. She's just doing shit, getting shit done. She's super good athlete. She's a great runner and just grinds it out like crazy. And it's just interesting that these roles, regardless of gender, actually, it has to do with, you can say that one's perhaps more feminine or one's more masculine, but those are wrong ways of looking at it in a way. You're either quite sensitive emotionally or you're not. And very often pairs will find each other that complement each other, because if you have a person who's quite sensitive and then you have another person that's quite sensitive, it's a cat fight.
It's a lot of sensitivity.
There's a lot of sensitivity and you never get anything done because there's constantly a landmine waiting for you. Like each one's going to trigger each other and it's just going to be a shit show, right? Excuse the language, but it's a shit show. And, that's where they turn that whole thing from relationship into relation shit, So there has to be some kind of balance. But iconically, women say they want a man who's sensitive, but what they actually want is a man who's sensitive to their feelings. They don't want a man who's talking about his feelings all the time, because very often females will have a larger emotional range than most men. And that's just a trend. And I'm not trying to make a rule about that. So though things may have some semblance to a pattern in society, doesn't mean that you need to get sucked into the stereotype or the meme of keep that psych shit away from me. Yes, we want everybody to be strong, but we want everybody to have contact with their emotions and have the right to express themselves when they need to. That is the best possible balance. It's not that you're going to be hyper emotional and a wreck and you're not going to be this ice cold killer on the other side. Both are wrong, and I don't know anybody who's one or the other totally. So the point is that we need to create a place in society where it's safe to express yourself, but at the same time there's some kind of balance with having to function in society also.
Yeah.
Because if your emotional states don't match the environment, that means that you're not able to function emotionally at work, for example. That's wrecking your work. So who needs to fix that? You do. And you're like, yeah, but people need to make room for my emotions. Yes, that's true. That is correct. They need to make room for you to have emotions and work through your emotions and get help if you need that. But also remember, on the other side of that, you still need to function. And if the whole society is agreeing that this is the layer that we need to function at doesn't mean that you have to live there, guys. This is the thing. This is the difference. You don't have to live there all the time. But while you're at work or while you're with your family, there are things that you have to provide in order to keep that relationship balanced, and be aware of that. So men, open your hearts, be safe, find the people you can be with and share yourself. And ladies, demand more of the men around you, because they can do more.
And be kind to them.
And be kind to them, because they're trying.
They're really trying.
It's awesome. Remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.